Hi, I'm Steve Good and welcome back to the Scroll Saw Workshop. What you've just been watching is an Automatron. An Automatron is a mechanical toy of some type, often wooden but sometimes made from paper or steel, that tries to reproduce either a human or an animal type movement. In this case, what I've done here is try to reproduce the Piano Man. And I've gone ahead and added a little music box to it just because it's that time of year and I wanted to add a little Christmas flavor to it. I have designed it so that the music box can be changed out so you can use it year round. And what I want to do is take you through a little bit of what it took me to build this project, and then I'll put the plans up for this project up on the website, and you can get those from www.scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com. And the plans will have all the cutting diagrams for you. They won't necessarily show the assembly of the project, which is why I wanted to do this video. Now again, as you can see, I've already got this project built. This is the first Automatron I've ever built and designed, and so it took me a while to do it, and I didn't film the whole process. So what I want to do right now in the rest of this video is just kind of point out some of the highlights of some of the problems that I had and also that you might have. It's actually a fairly easy toy to build. What took me so long was getting the first time through, making sure the mechanical movements were where I wanted them to be, and I'll show you that here in the rest of this video. What the mechanical movements in this Automatron do is they convert the circular movement of somebody turning the crank to an up and down movement through both of the arms using two rotating cams. And if you'll notice, the arms move independently from each other. While one goes up, the other goes down. And I want to show you now basically how I was able to do that. If you look inside the box, and if you go back to the earlier video, it might be a little more clear, but I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit, and you'll see that inside of this box, which I left open intentionally so you can see it, you can see two offset cams that the high point is opposite from one cam to the other. So while one cam is going up, the other circular cam is going down. And of course, one cam is for the left arm and one cam is for the right arm. Now, what I've done, and you'll see in the plans, is I've used a dowel rod and I've glued the cams, the two left and right arm cams, to that dowel rod. And of course, where the dowel rod goes through the interior and exterior wall of the box, the hole is a little larger to allow the dowel to move. And of course, on the outside of the box, we have this crank, and that's just simply an oval cut out, and I've glued the end of the dowel rod inside of this cam and put a handle on it. Okay. On the other side of the box, the back side, it's just a retaining spacer is all this is. So this is glued to the other end of the dowel rod, and that's just simply to keep the dowel from sliding out. Now you do want, when you're building this, to give yourself just a little bit of in-play. When you grab this part of the cam, there should be, maybe a 30-second or less in-play from, side to side, and that gives you a nice smooth action. You also want to make sure that the hole that you drill through the outside and the inside wall are just a little larger than the the diameter of whatever diameter dowel rod you decide to use, so it's nice and smooth when you turn it. If it's too tight, it'll get jerky. Okay, now we can go back to the front of the Automatron, and if we zoom in, what these right here are, these are the little steel rods that move the arm up and down. Those are coat hangers. And what I did is I cut two coat hangers that were about 8 inches long, and as I built the project, I let the coat hangers extend up much higher than they are right now. Once I had the keyboard height set and everything just where I wanted it, then that's when I came back in with my diagonal pliers, cut the coat hangers off to size, stuck them through the holes in the arm, and just bent them over so they wouldn't fall out. So basically that's an adjustment that you have to make while you're building the project. Also, if you'll notice up here on the shoulders of the arms, there's a dowel rod that goes through the shoulder of the piano man. The arms are on the dowel rod and they're loose, the hole's drilled a little bigger. And then on the outside of the arm where the shoulder is, there's just another retaining ring. And in this case I cut it a little bit square, but in the patterns I've changed it to be round. And this will be glued to each end of the dowel rod will have one of these glued on it, and that's just to keep the arms from coming off the ends of the piece. So that's what those pieces are for. The other thing you might want to do while you're building this project is don't start gluing everything together until you're sure everything fits. Again, when I installed these coat hangers in the arms, what I had to do was, if you notice, let's take this outside arm right here. When the cam is at its low point is when the hand is resting on the keyboard. So when you're building this, before you cut this coat hanger on the outside end, let his fingers touch the keyboard and make sure that the cam, look underneath and make sure that the cam is all the way in its lowest point, because when the cam's at its lowest, that's when you want the hand at its lowest. And then just the opposite for the other one. You're going to go ahead and turn until the left arm cam is at its low point, and then you can adjust the coat hanger on the left hand arm. So don't just cut these all at one time. I could do it now because I've got the dimensions down a little closer, but be careful as you're building this thing to make sure you get these as accurate as you can when you go to cut them.